Alright, the test is going to be coming up on Friday, so we want to make sure that you guys are ready by doing the review together. Now last week I was told that I was moving too fast, so this time I would like you to make sure to actually just listen without writing anything down, and then after you're done listening, then actually start writing down the problems, and I'll try to give you some time to do that, so let's please pay attention. On this test, finding the slope and the y-intercept will be 14 points on it. And what you're going to have to do is be given a table to locate the slope and the y-intercept, and then write both the slope and the y-intercept to use them to write the equation. So let's go ahead and get started by finding the y-intercept. All intercepts, x-intercept and y-intercept, have to have the number 0 in them. So in this case, the answer is right there. 0 means it's not there, so it's not the x. The actual number value, numerical value that's not a 0, is in the y. So this is a y-intercept. So the y-intercept equals 0, 2. Now, for the slope, what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and locate it by using the formula, either y2 minus y1 all over x2 minus x1. Basically, you're subtracting the y's from each other or subtracting the x's from each other. But if you just take this table right here and kind of just slap it, it will turn. If you use your right hand to slap it, it will turn this way, and then you already have your fraction set with these numbers on top and these numbers on the bottom. So if you slap the table, you'll be able to find the slope. So if I take a divide sign, put the minus signs right here, and I slap this table with my right hand, it will twist this way, and I'll have a negative 8 and a negative 4 on top, and I'll have a negative 3 and a negative 1 on the bottom. And what that does, it will give you the slope rather easily. A lot of kids make a mistake. They'll put these two on top, these two on the bottom, but you have to twist the table first, so be really careful with that. Alright, so now we're going to take the calculator. If I press alpha, y equal to, enter, that will give me an empty fraction. And then I can go ahead and put negative 8, take away negative 4 on top, and negative 3, take away negative 1 on the bottom. That will give me my slope, which is 2. Now my equations, y equals mx plus b. The m is the slope. The b is the y-intercept. Now we're not going to take the 0, but we're going to take the other value that's available to us, which is a negative 2. So instead of plus b, I'll scratch that out, put negative 2. My equation is y equal 2x subtract 2. Now I'm going to leave this one for you. Okay, it's just like that. This is for practice. You're also going to be asked to define the slope and the y-intercept from a graph. So again, this is the same concept. This is your x-axis. So this will be your x-intercept. This is your y-axis. This will be your y-intercept. So my y-intercept is 0, negative 2. Alright. Now we're going to go ahead and find the slope. The slope is directions, how to get from one point to another point. In this case, the directions are you're going to moving up 2. We call that the rise. So you're going to rise up 2 spots, but you're going to run, but this time to the left. And if you continue going to the left, you notice all the numbers become negative. So counting to the left, you'll be counting with negative numbers. Negative 1, negative 2. Now if you reduce that, you'll end up with negative 1. So my y-intercept is negative 2. My slope is negative 1. So now I'm able to go ahead and put it into the formula. Again, this is your slope. The number always next to the x is your slope. Y equals negative 1x. And the y-intercept is the b, minus 2. Again, try your best to just listen. And after you listen, we'll give you a little time. We'll pause the video and give you a chance to go ahead and just write down the answer. Again, I'm going to go ahead and leave this one for you, just so you can try it on your own. It's the exact same way. This one I'm going to do both because they're trying to be a little tricky. If you want to find the slope, you always remember it's y equals mx plus b. The value of the m is always the slope. In this case, the slope is 2. But this one right here, that's your y-intercept. And remember, write your y-intercept 0, -9 inside of a coordinate pair. So again, don't write it down until after you've seen me do it. Okay, let's try number 6. Number 6 says y equals 5 minus 3x, and what they did is they're trying to be a little tricky. It's supposed to say y equal mx plus b. So most people expect the first number right here to be the slope and the second number to be the y-intercept. But what you really got to be looking for is the letter x. M is always attached to x. In this case, this is the slope. Slope is -3. And the y-intercept, well, that's going to be 5. Now for the y-intercept, the 5 will always be in the y spot, which means the 0 has to be in the x spot. Okay, so now copy it, and let's give it a shot. For the next problem, we're going to go ahead and work on some word problems, okay? So again, make sure that you're pausing the video so you're paying attention, and then after paying attention, then you're writing down the problem so you get it twice as much. Alright, the water level of the river is 14 feet. This is a value of 14, a starting value. And remember, our starting value is always our y-intercept, and is increasing by a rate. The word rate always signifies, well, most of the time signifies the fact that this is the slope. Also the word per, each, and every. These are very big clues that this right here, the number right next to it, is going to be the slope. So what do we know so far? Well, we know that we start off with 14, so y equals 14. Make sense? Increasing, that means it's going to be a plus sign, not a minus sign. Rate, that means this is a slope, 1.5 per, that's where we put the letter x. So we have 114 plus 1.5x. Really, really easy. Again, don't write this down until we're done. What is the slope? Well, in this case, it's 1.5. How can you tell? Per, each, every, and the word rate. All those were hints. What is the y-intercept? 14. How could you tell? Well, because it is the starting value. It is the value that you start off with. It always comes by itself without the word per, each, and every, unless they're trying to be really tricky. Write out the equation slope-intercept form. Well, the equation in slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Remember, this is the slope. We've already said it was 1.5. This is the y-intercept. We've already said it's positive 14. So this is our equation. Again, don't write until now. Now you can have a chance to write it down. That way you're hearing it and also writing it down. Ramona's lemonade pitcher is leaking from a crack at a rate. Uh-oh, here we go. Remember this word? This is always trying to let us know, alerting us that this might be the slope. 3 ounces every. Per, each, and every. This is where you put the letter x. Most of the time. The pitcher originally had 32 ounces. This is your starting value. Remember, our starting value is almost always going to be the y-intercept. So what's the slope? 3. Alright, now this is a word problem. You can't just say 3. You can't, can I just give it a number? No. In a word problem, you have to give it the units. 3 what? 3 ounces, 3 liters, 3 monkeys. The whole point is that you have to have the right number there and the unit that comes with it. But not just the unit. Every what? Every hour, every minute, every second. So when you're looking for the slope in a word problem, make sure you get everything that's right after it. Because these make a big difference in figuring out what the actual slope is. So do I have to include the units? Absolutely. What is the y-intercept? Again, it's our starting value. It's right there, 32. What is another name for it? Starting value. Write out an equation. Again, we have y equal mx plus b. This is your slope. This is your y-intercept. We have a slope. We have our y-intercept. So let's go ahead and start working with it. We now have its y equals, you start off with 32 ounces. But the 32 ounces is leaking. That would be a minus at a rate of 3x. Now, to rewrite it to look pretty like that, we want the slope first. Don't forget to take the sign with it. That's not a positive 3, that's a negative 3. And this is a positive 32. This is your slope-intercept form. Again, take a minute right now, write down the answers after everything's done. And I keep repeating that because that's extremely important. So far we have 14 points and 12 points. That's 26. Now we're going to get 10. There's 10 points in being able to read a graph in the first quadrant. Now this graph right here originally came from a normal graph. Just like that. But they erased this side of it, and they erased this side of it, and just left it as a one quadrant graph. Now, let's see some of these questions. The first thing they ask is, what is the y-intercept? Now, the y-intercept is wherever it crosses the y-axis. This is right there. And the answer seems to be going by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So 24, 26, 28, 30. But you're not allowed just to put 30. 30 what? This is the balance remaining on the gift card. So this is balance means money. So this is $30 on gift card. This is extremely important because when you handle word problems, you have to make sure that you're writing it with everything else. You have to include the units. What is the slope? Well, it's kind of hard to rise over run. With these quadrant ones, I never use rise over run because they're not going by ones. They go by different areas. So what I do is I pick 2 points and I put them in the table. Alright, my first point is 0, 30. My second point is 128. It looks actually, no, this doesn't look, oh, this right here. That looks like a really good point. Now this is too high, too low. This is right dead center. And then I can go straight to the 20, straight to the 4. Remember the word is slope, but if I could slap it, it makes it easier to figure it out. So I take the table, I slap it, it falls down. So I take it, slaps it this way, it falls down. And if you notice on top, you'll have the 30 and the 20. On the bottom, you'd have 0 and the 4. Just put a minus sign right there. Alright, 30 minus 20 is 10. 0 minus 4 is negative 4, which ends up being negative 5 over 2. So the slope is negative 5 over 2. Write out the equation in slope-intercept form. That's pretty easy. All I need is the slope and the y-intercept. Y equals negative 5 over 2x plus 30. Remember, this is the y-intercept. This is your slope. Alright, let's continue. What does the slope represent? Well, now you have to start reading. So, negative 5 over 2. Okay? Negative means you're losing. What are we talking about here? We're talking about cupcakes. And we're talking about gift cards. So, I got money in my gift card. My money keeps coming down. Right? This is my rise. This is my run. This is my change of Y. Y is money. This is my change of X. Cupcakes. So let's put it together. Ready? I'm gonna lose, because that's negative, $5 for 2 cupcakes. So every 2 cupcakes I buy, I'm going to be paying $5. So the slope represents the money you pay for the cupcakes. Alright. What does the Y represent? The Y-intercept, we just talked about it. That's the money on the gift card. The x-axis, let's see what that is, alright? So, had $30, 28, 24, keeps coming down, the money comes down to $8, $6, $4, oh, right here at 12. At 12 cupcakes, I run out of money. So the x-intercept represents the ending value. It's $0 at 12 cupcakes. Alright. Create a table from this graph. Now, why would I need to create a table from this graph? That's really easy. To get the slope. A lot of times it's super hard to get the slope by just looking at it. They don't go by ones. The notches don't match. Check it out. This is 1.5 notches to 1. It's not going to give me 5/2 because they're going by 2s and not going by 1s. So we're able to just create a table from this graph. Just follow the dots. Remember, it has to be right in the corner. That's a good one. So you walk to 8, climb to 10. It's another one right at the corner, right there. We already talked about that one. That's 420. And of course, our y-intercept, which is 0.30. So being able to go back and forth is really, really important. Again, now write the answers down. Because if you're busy writing these down while I'm explaining it, you're going to miss the whole explanation. This is our biggest part of the test. It has almost half of it is on this. So you've got to be really careful here and really pay attention. Because if you miss this part, you're pretty much guaranteed to fail the test. The first thing we have to do is if we're given a half a line, we have to finish it. And no, we're not allowed to get a calculator and just connect it together. This is a really bad idea. You're going to get an approximate answer. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to use the slope. The reason why we're going to use the slope is because the slope is constant on a straight line. What does that mean? That means it follows a pattern. So right here we have a dot, and right here we have a dot. So all we got to do is follow the pattern from those dots and keep going. And that will give me a very, very straight line. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 down. That's the rise. I'm sorry, 4 down. And 1 to the right. So that means the next dot is also 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 1 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 1 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 1 to the right. And 1, 2, 3, 4 down, 1 to the right. Now I got all these dots. Now I can connect them and make a seriously good line. Now I want you to pretend this is a seriously good line, okay? Alright, what's our slope? Well, our slope is our rise over run. Right? Well, I rose down 4, that's -4, over running 1, which is just -4. Again, don't write this down until the end. What's my y-intercept? This is my y-axis. It crosses right there at -8. So this will be 0, -8. X-intercept. Well, the x-intercept is my x-axis right here. Notice it's at -2. Again, -2, 0. Remember, these are x and y's, right? If it's an x-intercept, the number goes there in the x. If it's a y-intercept, the number goes there in the y. So it's really easy to remember. What's the equation? Well, the slope is -4, and the y-intercept is -8. How we complete the line if we don't have a ruler or a straight edge? We always complete it by using the slope. Now that I showed you the trick to this, and I wrote all that down, now you get the chance to copy this down. Because now you get to think about it one more time as you write down the answers. Again, keep pausing the video, it makes it easier to do that. Graph the following 2 points. This is my walk, this is my climb, this is my walk, this is my climb. I had a guy right here with a ladder. He would walk to -2, and then climb down to -9. Then you put a dot. He'll walk to 3, and climb up to 6. Now, what is the slope? I really don't want to count all these notches. Okay, call me lazy. I just don't want to count them. Instead, I'm going to pop these points inside of a table and slap the table. It's a lot easier for me. I like that much easier. If you want, you can count the notches. Same thing. So I take this table, I slap it, it falls down this way. And when it falls down this way, the top numbers will be -9 and 6. The bottom numbers will be -2 and 3. Just put a minus sign between them, just like that. Then again, the trick in the calculator is super easy. When you press alpha y equal to enter, it gives you an empty fraction. And then you'll be able to pop these numbers in there. -9 subtract 6, and -2 subtract 3. That will give me +3. Alright, the y-intercept. Oh, see, I don't see the y-intercept. And I don't want to draw just a line hoping they'll cross the right spot. So guess what I'm going to use? How can we complete the line if we don't have a ruler or a straight edge? Use the slope. All right, let's use the slope. You're rising 3, which I need a fraction, over 1. So this becomes the rise. This is the run. Every number by itself could be over 1. So from this dot, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, rise 1. 1, 2, 3, rise 1. There's our y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, rise 1. There's our x-intercept. 1, 2, 3, rise 1. 1, 2, 3, run 1. There we go. The y-intercept, right there, -3. Remember x, y, it goes into y. The equation is y equals 3x minus 3. Slope goes here. Y-intercept goes at the end. And the x-intercept is 1. Again, it's an x, so it goes in the x spot, 1, 0. Alright, these are just as easy if you remember to use the slope as your rise over run. It makes no difference if they give you a point, an x-intercept, or a y-intercept. This is your key. This is your key right here. Now this is the reason why this is your key, is because these are your directions where to go from this point. So if I give you the point, walk and climb, of 2, 3, I'll walk to 2, climb up to 3. From this point, I have directions to every single point that's on there. So from this point, I can rise 3, run 2. Again, don't write this until we're done. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Super, super easy. Those are directions, and I could go in that direction. But they're looking for the equation, which means I need the slope. I already got that. But I'll need the y-intercept, so I need to go backwards. I need to come down here and see where it crosses. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, left 2. 1, 2, 3, left 2. 1, 2, 3, left 2. There it is. My y-intercept is 0, 0. Pretend that's a straight line, which stays y equals 3 over 2x. Alright, let's try it again. I have an x-intercept of 2. This is my x-axis. This is 2. That's my x-intercept. Woohoo! That's easy. Now I got my slope. Remember, my slope is my directions. Now, that's -3 over 2, so it would be tricky to put the negative on the bottom. Just put it up top. Scratch it out here, put it up top. Just makes it easier. So I'm rising -3, which means I'm coming down 1, 2, 3, running 2. 1, 2, 3, running 2. 1, 2, 3, running 2. Now, they want 2 other points on the graph. I can give them 1, 2, 3, 3 different points if you want. Or I can go backwards. 1, 2, 3, left 2, 1, 2, 3, left 2. So you can go directions this way or this way. It doesn't change anything. 1, 2, 3, left 2. Any one of those points will work. Let's use the 4, -3, and the 6, -6. Again, you walk to 4, climb down to -3. Walk to 6, climb down to -6. Again, same exact trick, same exact everything. Y-intercept is -5. Here's the y-axis. Here's -5. Directions is up 1, right 2. This is rise. This is run. You rise up 1, run 2. 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 X-intercept is right there at the 10. So this is 10, 0. Again, now that I'm done, write that here. Write that here. And write that down here. And that gives you a chance to get ready. Okay, direct variation on the test, you need to know the definition of it. Now this is 16 points, so it seems super easy. Make sure you get these points. Direct variation, you have a straight line that goes through the origin. When you graph it, it needs to cross right here. It has to. Can't be here, 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 or here. It has to be in the middle. It is a straight line. It can't curve. If it curves like that, it's not a direct variation. And it has same value for the product or for the quotient of the line of every point. So if you have a table, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2. If you have the product, you multiply them together. 0 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4. Is that the same value? No. Quotient means you divide them. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 divided by 1 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 3. 1. Yes. So the answer there is quotient. So, origin, straight line, quotient. Another definition you have to have the word is finding the zero. The word the zero is another name for the x-intercept. And since it's for the x-intercept, you'll say x equals its value. So if I have this right here crossing at 1, you will say x equals a 1. You would not say 1, 0. This is a coordinate pair. This is called a 0. It's the way it's written down. Now, I want you to fix something. It's supposed to be a y, not an x. So how do I graph the ones that don't look like y equal mx plus b? Well, these are even easier. These are way easier. If it says x, go to the x. It says 7, positive 7, find positive 7. When you get to positive 7, you see this little notch right here? Just make it bigger. And you're done. Super, super easy. Pretend that's a straight line. Same thing with y equals negative 2. Hey, let me make it look prettier. So all you gotta do is go to y. This is y. Find a number, negative 2. There's negative 2. And look what's sticking out of negative 2. It's a little notch. Just make that notch bigger. Again, there goes another straight line. Now, in order to do the slopes of these two lines, it's kind of hard to go rise and run. It doesn't seem to work because it's either rising or running. It's not doing both. We have divided to use this guy called Slope Man. This guy is meant to help us realize what the slopes are. This is a vertical line. And see this little thing under it that makes a nose? That's U for the word undefined. So this is a picture to help you remember the slope of all vertical lines are undefined. Well, how about the horizontal line? Well, right there. That's your hint. The slope of a horizontal line is always 0. So these are not something you find by using rise over run. These are things you find by using this little picture to help you remember. Now, parallel, perpendicular, and changing linear forms is 18 points on the test. This is the fun ones. First thing, I want you to change them to slope-intercept form. In order to change it to slope-intercept form, you're going to have to do some multiplication. This is 2 multiplying x minus 5, so let's go ahead and do that first. And remember, whenever you have parentheses, you mean multiplication. So that's 2 times x and 2 times negative 5. 2 times x is 2x, 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. On this side, you have y plus 3. So I want to solve for the y, so I put multiply divide on top of it. And I want to go ahead and get rid of the x, so that's a plus and minus. It's already adding, and it says nothing here, so I don't have to worry about it. So the opposite of plus 3 is subtract 3. Look how I line it up under the 10, because it does not belong under the 12 at 2x. Ends up with y equals 2x minus 13. That's the slope-intercept form. Now you have to do two things. Parallel, which means same slope. So all you got to do is find something, write it down here, makes no difference what it is, that has that same slope. That's pretty, isn't it? Now change this number. Makes no difference what it is. As long as it has a different y-intercept, it's a different equation. The word perpendicular means negative reciprocal. Well, I explained it to my kids as opposite sign and flipped. And I asked them every time they do perpendicular to use something I call the of table. Because a parallel, you can eyeball it. It's a number, write it down here. Perpendicular, you can't, because it has two parts to it, so you have to do it separately. First thing you have to do is find an opposite sign. This is a positive 2. An opposite sign of a positive, well, the only one is a negative. So I just got that part taken care of. Now I got to flip it. So right here, the slope is 2, which is the same thing as 2 over 1. So if I take it and flip it, it becomes 1 over 2. And that's how you find a perpendicular. Again, it makes no difference what the y-intercept is. That was the first time. Let's do it again. Whenever we used to solve, we always used to solve for x. But if there's a y present, and we're going for a slope-intercept form, we actually always solve for the y, not the x. So this is the multiply divide. Whatever one you want to solve, you put multiply divide on top of it. Whichever one you don't want to solve, you put a plus or minus on top of it. Okay, this 2x is already positive, so I'm going to subtract it. Be very careful. Do not write it under the 12. This becomes 0. We don't write it under 12 because we put 12 minus 2. You're going to subtract to get a 10. Put it to the side. This is a number, this is an x. They don't go together. That gives me negative 2x plus 12, or 12 minus 2x. It's up to you. Put that one first, put that one second, or you could put them in the same order, make no difference. The 5y, the negative 5y, is already multiplying because it's to the side of the y. To the side means multiplication, so I'm going to divide it. Divide both sides by negative 5. And y equals the negative cross out, 2 over 5x plus or minus gives me a minus 12 over 5. Alright, parallel means same slope. I can eyeball it. Now this is 2, 5. This is 2 over 5. Done. Just change the y-intercept. Perpendicular, I can't eyeball that one. I need the of table. Because remember, perpendicular has the opposite sign and flip. This is positive. Opposite of positive is negative. Alright, done. And I gotta flip it. 2 over 5 flips becomes 5 over 2. Y equals negative 5 over 2x plus 3. See that again? We always solve for the x unless there's a y there. If there's a y there, we solve for the y, unless told otherwise. The y is multiply, divide. The x is plus or minus. It's already multiplying. It's already adding. So I'm going to subtract the 6x from both sides, not under the 36. That gives me 36 minus 6x. Again, a lot of teachers prefer the 6x first. Let's switch that just to make everybody happy. Put the 6x first, and 36 next, and it's multiplying by a positive 3. So the opposite is divide. Divide by 3. So divide by 3 over here, divide by 3 over here. Y equals negative 2x plus 12. Alright, that's my slope-intercept form. Parallel, I can eyeball it. Parallel means same slope. So I need to use the same slope. This number right here. Same one. So this is the same, this is not. Perpendicular, I can't eyeball that one. That one I'm going to need to use an of table. My pencils have an identity price, so sorry. Take that. Alright, so this is negative. Opposite of negative is a positive. And if I flip 2, which is 2 over 1, it flips, it becomes 1 over 2. So I need to use a slope that's positive 1/2. Y equals 1/2 x minus 7, whatever. Alright, again guys, I'm going kind of fast, so right after I finish this one, pause it, then copy it. Right after you finish listening to this one, pause it and copy it. Right after I finish this one, do the same thing, because we want to make sure that you guys are learning these things and not just busy copying it while I'm talking. Last one, multiply, divide, plus or minus. This is already minus. Again, this is multiplication, since we have a lot of these are multiplying already. So we're going to add 4x. Again, never under the number, because this is a number, this is an x, they're different. So that gives me 4x, positive 4x, so just 4x minus 36. Why is it minus? Because it's got this thing in front of it. That's a minus when it becomes in the middle. Now we're dividing by 18. Here we go. Here we go. A lot of kids have issues reducing these. If you're one of those kids that has an issue reducing, you can always use a calculator. Turn it on, alpha y equal to enter. Just pop, oh, that didn't work. And pop in that fraction, which is 4 over 18. You just press enter. The calculator is really nice. It reduces it for you. Alright, there's our slope-intercept form. Y equals 2 over 9x minus 2. Parallel means it has to have the same slope. Again, you can eyeball that. Just whatever that says up there, just rewrite it down here. It has to have the same slope. Just as long as the y-intercept is different. Because if I don't use a different y-intercept, I cheated. See? I just copied the answer. That's no good. So you have to use a different number. You don't want it to be the same equation. Any number would work. Here. Let's go crazy. Let's put 17. As for perpendicular, you can't eyeball that one. That one you need an of table. Because negative reciprocal means opposite sign and flip. So for this one, you need this thingy right here. This is positive, so opposite of positive is negative. Flip, you take the 2, 9 and flip it upside down. It becomes 9 over 2. Y equals negative 9 over 2x. Plus, again, any number as long as it's not 2. Thank you so much, guys, for paying attention. I hope that you were listening and then writing answers later. And good luck on your test tomorrow. Oh, Friday. Bye.